don't make me kill. No motherfucker can hit. I'm sure we shot somebody that make me hot. Yo, what is good, people? This is your man's Third Chairman, aka Fat Panther, aka some other stuff. And you are listening to No Fiction Forever. And you know what I'm gonna talk about. You know, even if there was no title to this video, you know what we're gonna talk about. And I suggest that if you ain't seen the movie, you turn this off immediately. There's no why even wait? Why even be this close to the line? You know what? I gotta say this. Those people that was just putting out random spoilers out, like I'll be scrolling and just seeing something like some stupid video, because you know people just post stupid stuff. I hate we had cameras on our phone, but people post stupid stuff. So I'll be in the comments, because that'd be the dopest part, and then somebody be like, "Oh, Tony Stark didn't die for this." Like, ooh, I'm so glad I seen this movie, because y'all really ain't got no heart. I report them. I report them. I report them comments. I put in sexual harassment or something. Hey, I put in verbal vandalism or something. Because you're not finna be out here just ruining people. Everybody ain't got the money to see it. You ain't finna be out here just ruining the movie for people. Everybody ain't got the money. Sometimes you gotta wait a little bit. So I feel like everybody who want to see it is going to see it by the time this is released. So I'm putting this out now. I'm recording now. I'm putting it out when I put it out. But I feel like if you really want to see it, you can. Ask your homies if they got some money for a ticket. You know, go through a matinee. I can't speak for everybody's schedule and everybody's pockets. Everybody may not be in that situation, which I can respect. And I sure as believe, hey, let me be real with y'all. I didn't have the money. Man, I'm broke. I'm broker than broke. I need money to be broke. I need money to not have nothing. I'm so overdrafted. They finna call the police on me. I feel like my account's overdrafted. They got a warrant out for my arrest. I can't go near the bank. I wear sunglasses walking by the bank because they look for me. But yeah. So there's a few things I want to talk about. And first and foremost, I want to say I like the movie. This ain't coming from a point of a place of dislike. I liked it. I liked the movie a lot. And to be all the way real with y'all, I'm not even a superhero movie. Like, I'm not a comic book person. Like, I like comics. I love the art in them. But it's too many different kinds of stories. And I'm a completionist. So I gotta have every kind of, like, let's say Batman, for instance, because that would be the comics I get first. I would have to have every Batman comic, period. I'm talking about from number one to all of them. All the different storylines, all these random things. And of course that means I gotta probably find the Justice League ones. I gotta call myself, I gotta endure the stupidity of Batman beating with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I feel like the Power Rangers probably by now. And that's the kind of person I'd be. I'd have it just to have it. And it would just drive me nuts. Like, it's already bad enough not having every movie, but sometimes they slap Batman's name on stuff. Sometimes they slap Batman's name on stuff to pay their bills, you feel me? They know he's gonna just bring in some money. So it'd be like super stuff Batman and Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn was dope at the time. So they really took the time to draw that mess out. Batman and just everything's stupid. If you look back, the Batman Team Mutant Ninja Turtle thing is not a lie. They've done that. And I just feel like, okay, like, why? Why do you feel like this is necessary? Like, they just take whatever's trending and slap Batman into it. And that's why I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't bleep with that because I have, I'd had to have a room dedicated to just him. And that's not including all the other people I like, which is not many, but it's enough of it to, like, I love X-Men. But could you imagine me getting X-Men and X-Force and the new X-Men and the Extraordinary X-Men, Ultra X-Men, Super. I would never stop, and that means I gotta get Wolverines. I feel like Cyclone, or it's not Cyclone. Cyclops got a comic by now. Rogue, I'm sure probably got one. Just people's stories are just going deep, and I'm like, man, I'd never do. I would do nothing but buy comic. So I can't remember what I was talking about actually. I don't even know why I'm talking about Batman because that's DC. What was I talking about? Oh, so yeah, I don't like superhero movies. I'm not super consumed into that whole demographic, but I will watch these movies. And primarily, I started watching them because I like when stories intertwine. When I found out the stories like connect the way they do, I was like, that's a marvelous idea. Oh, I got bought. I promise you, hand to God, I did not mean to do that. Marvelous. I'm dope for that. That's how you know I rap too much. But that was just a dope idea, like to have all these different stories, but then they all kind of like intertwine some kind of way. And that's the problem with the X. Not the problem with the X-Men. I could talk about X-Men, but ultimately they was all together. It was almost always together. And it would have been kind of dope to kind of see them like swarm in, and then like be like the X-Men. But it is what it is. I feel like Marvel's DC got to be sitting at the crib. Well, first off, they're probably watching the Endgame, but when they get home, they got to be salt. They done went through so many characters, so many Batmans. Just talking about Batman alone, bro. I can listen. I could list. I'm not even count Adam West, and there's a dude who actually did it before Adam West that people don't really talk about because it wasn't as mainstream. But we're talking about what was the first one? I feel like the first one was Val Kilmer, right or wrong. Somebody help me out. Val Kilmer, and then Jimmy Kwan is Shine. Are you supposed to get this down page? I know Val Kilmer, Michael Keaton, George Clooney was like the early like the '90s versions, or I feel like it was 90. It wasn't 80. There was no way those in the '80s. It was 90 something. The Tim Burton joints when people was. It was like almost too plain. It was darker, but they were still kind of playing around. And those are dope movies. I got Batman. I'm looking dead at my Batman Returns DVD right now. Like I got that on deck. The one with Catwoman is that's the goat of the movies. I don't care. We don't even acknowledge the George Clooney one. We're not going to discuss that on this podcast. So please leave that to yourself in the comment section. We don't discuss those movies, but anyways, back to the real Batman movies. This Batman Returns was just a classic with Catwoman, and then Penguin. Danny DeVito's Penguin was just too dope, man. But the problem, let me get back to what I was saying. I can talk about that all day, but Marvel just got they just in their bag when it comes to planning stuff, because you can tell with just like the whole thing with the phases and just knowing, okay, we're gonna do this and we're gonna intertwine this into this, and this is gonna mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you almost have to see all the movies. Like you don't have to, but it would behoove you to watch Patreon. It would behoove you to watch. Let me give you all a quick update on this Patreon because I haven't brought it up in a couple of weeks. I am having a struggle with tiers. Well, Patreon is what you can donate to me to help me out with the channel. It's like a monthly thing. It comes out the first of the month. You can give. I think it depends on what I set the tiers at, but I'll do maybe like $1 or $2, and then maybe $5, $10, $20, or whatever a month that you can give to me without having to just continuously come to me and donate to like PayPal or somewhere like that, which I appreciate any help. But the problem is depending on how much money you give, You're supposed to get different incentives. Like $1 is like maybe a thank you or a shout out on the podcast. $5 would be maybe, I don't know. That's $5 would be the shout out plus something else, and then $10 would be the shout out plus the five plus whatever something. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to kind of build up like that. Problem is, I ain't got nothing to give y'all, so I'm trying to get to that point. And once I do, we can talk about that, because I don't want to take out money out of people's pockets without telling y'all what I'm gonna do with it, and also telling you what I'm finna give back to you for you helping me out, to get some equipment to make this a thing, get a production, kind of get something moving, It's not just paying me for my time, because I'm doing this for free. It's a podcast, but I could use a better laptop. I could use a microphone, period. Stuff like that. Just getting this, advertisement is definitely going to be a big part of what all that goes to, because I need more people help me spread the word. And if y'all like what y'all hear, just share it. I'm saying? Shout out to my brother who's been sharing the podcast. My two brothers been sharing the podcast. Shout out to Hav, who had on his too. Here's the three of y'all. Let me say this: if you ain't listened to the Bowtie Psychics, you a goof troop. So go search Bowtie Psychic. It's pretty dope and very informative and very transparent as well, which is what I lean towards when I'm looking for a podcast to listen to. But I ain't trying to hear no hour somebody lying or making stuff up. You feel me? So I'm grateful for authenticity. And that's definitely what that is. So, anyways, I'm trying to think of some tiers so I can know what to offer. And then that way, it won't just be like, yo, just give me money for nothing. Like, I can show you, okay, I'm gonna give you this if you pay me that. I mean, it's just like a monthly. Like I said, it's just a monthly thing. Like I said, $1 a month is helpful. You know what I'm saying? I can say that up and do something with it. And there's some people who advertise on the low. They want $15, $20 payment for them to put your podcast or put whatever you advertise in as like an ad on a page or whatever. Like, it ain't gotta be like hundreds of. I'm saying advertisement. I don't mean like Super Bowl commercials. I'm talking about just maybe somebody on Instagram. Hey, have you checked out this? Have you checked out that? Because I listen, y'all. I ran into a couple of posts by now, two or three, about interracial dating. If y'all heard my podcast called Best Person, which is my pride and joy at the moment, I love that. What I was saying, I love the points I had in that. But only problem is, ain't really nobody talking to me about it. And I know if people heard it, because based on what I was seeing posted, they wasn't bringing up what I was bringing up. And I want somebody to talk to me about what I said. Now, shout out to Hav. There was a comment on the Instagram page about, but that was more so the where the light skin versus dark skin kind of came from. Because I was curious about that too, and he helped me learn that. So that's pretty dope. And there was something else said. I can't remember that kind of we was talking back and forth about. But that kind of stuff I need, because I want. If I'm wrong, tell me. I'm not scared of being wrong, but I'm gonna question your answers. Don't think you finna just come to me. I'm not finna argue for no reason, but if you say something to me that ain't a whole answer or a whole thought or too much on the surface for me to solidify into my understanding, then I'm gonna ask you about it. Because we listen, y'all, as black people, we got too much going on, and we fighting each other. We trying to control each other and make sure we doing this and we doing that, and that we don't even know why sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get to the point of that, but I'm not gonna make this deep. This ain't even about all that. But anyways, advertisement is going to be one of the main things I use any money for. Equipment's going to be helpful. So yeah, I'm gonna get off this commercial. I just want to let y'all know what Patreon's for, and I said send me some money every Patreon, or every time I said send me some money every time I say a big word. I don't even think that's possible. I'm just kind of playing. I feel like you can't do that. But anyways, I'm gonna get back to my point, because I've talked too much about all this stuff, and I'm gonna forget what I'm talking about. Main thing, what I was elaborating on, DC needs to talk to somebody at Marvel about planning stuff. I'm so sick of all these different Batmans. And here's another thing. Ooh, I said I was gonna move on, but this is what I was thinking of. I gotta say this part just real quick. Batman, all these like I watched in Justice League, And here's why I think Marvel is going to dominate. It's because unless they do some sort of Days of Future Past stuff in one of these DC movies and start everything over, because they ain't got no plans. You see Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man for 10 years, and then you look at Batman. Yeah, we done seen all the ones I named. We done seen Christian Bale. We done seen Ben Affleck, which I don't believe either one of those two in particular as Batman, but we all know Dark Knight was a classic, so I'm not even gonna get into that. But beyond that, I ain't never seen. Let me slow down. Say what I'm trying to say. Sherman, say what you gotta say. Say what you gotta say, Sherman. But okay, they need to get some plans together, because one thing that Marvel hasn't done that DC is doing is that Marvel or DC doesn't know how to have just one character play one thing. You watch a TV show called Flash, and then you watch a movie called the movie with Flash in it. It's a whole different dude, and stuff like that. They don't solidify. Or you watch, they got a Supergirl show for whatever reason. I'm not going to talk about that, but then you see Superman in that, and then you watch the movies in a different Superman. You'll never see that mess. Disney Plus finna drop, and they got Loki, Wanda. I'm curious about who's gonna play them. If it's not gonna be the same people, I really hope it is. But these are movie stars we're asking to do shows. But Disney, having the money to pay them, maybe it's a different situation versus the CW trying to compete with that mess. So Disney may even own the CW. Disney own me. I feel like they brought so much stuff. Like they don't even. Oh, I seen a map about all the stuff they own. It's actually rude. It's actually rude. They own so much stuff. So who knows if they even own the CW or not? But they do. They need to handle this DC stuff. But yeah, that's what Marvel needs to, or DC needs to solidify some stories, and then make shows based on that. Because now we know, based on what happened in Endgame, why Loki had a show, even though he was dead in Infinity War. Everybody was confused about. I thought it was gonna be like a backstory when he was a kid. It may be, but now we know that they can. It doesn't have to be locked into that. Based on what we've seen, WandaVision, which I don't know how they're gonna do, what that means. The show's called WandaVision, and I don't think it's called Wanda and Vision, which is weird because Vision was the name of her dude who got killed because he had the Mind Stone in his head or whatever. In the Infinity War, he got the stone snatched out of his head. So I don't know. We'll see what they do with that. But then at the end, you also see Falcon and Winter Soldier, or I think Bucky, or is it called Falcon and Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Bucky? It's probably Winter Soldier. And another thing, I'm gonna get into that later actually. But yeah, so you see like the story set up within the movies versus them just trying to get the bag. DC is just trying to get the bag as much as they can. Here's another animated movie for no reason, and some of them is dope, but some of them is absolutely unnecessary. When I seen Hell to Pay or something like that from like the Suicide Squad when I was out, which is another joke in the DC universe. I thought I was trash, but then I watched Batman Ninja. I kind of went against my. I don't watch everything Batman, but when I seen the trailer to Batman Ninja, I had to watch it, and when I did, I was not disappointed. Man, Tony Hale as Joker was ridiculous. As you can tell, this is kind of a nerd-ish episode. I don't know the details of everybody like to the depth. Some people study these people like a class or some sort of course. I know certain things and certain things I don't know. So if you feel uninterested, I'm gonna get into Endgame in a minute, but you're gonna have to listen to something else because I'm trying to take it light this week. I need it, and I don't think every week gonna be super deep. Like everything gotta be some sort of lesson. I'm telling you what's important to me at the particular moment. And right now, Endgame is just obviously the topic everybody's gonna be talking about for at least a month or so. So I had to tell y'all what I thought about it. So let me just get in that. Y'all see what I'm saying about DC and Marvel. I feel like they DC really needs to talk to somebody at Marvel or sell themselves to Disney and have this deal right, because I'm tired of seeing all these different things. And they got plenty of properties they can do stuff with. They had so much stuff. I ain't hear nothing about Aquaman. I ain't talking about no Aquaman. Do nobody care about Justice League 2. Do nobody care about this new Suicide Squad they doing. Like, and like I said, Supergirl actually exists. That's a show. I wasn't making it up. So they gonna need some help soon. Okay, so Endgame, right? I was I wasn't blown away, but I needed some closure. There's certain scenes that did blow me away. The movie as a whole was kind of like, okay, I get it, but there's some things that shocked me. Okay, so you watched the movie, and the first, what I would say 15, 20 minutes. I wasn't timing it, but 15, 20 minutes into it, they roll up in Thanos' joint and chop his bleeping head off, and they did a really good job at they did the same kind of thing, the shock factor they did in Infinity War. When you watch the first 15, 20 minutes of that, you see the Hulk that we've been seeing smashing, destroying absolutely everything possible. We see him get beat up. We see that, which displayed Thanos' actual strength, because he went heads up with the Hulk, and that's supposed to be just not doable. And you see him get beat up. Then you seen Idris die. I can't remember his character. I'm not a big fan of Thor movies, to be honest with you, especially Ragnarok. I'm not. If I wanted to watch a comedy, I'd be at home watching Martin or something. Like, he's supposed to be a superhero. He's supposed to be the god of thunder. I don't want to talk about that. Anyways, Edge is gone. Then you see Loki get killed, like killed, and then you're like, dang, Gina, like this is, you know what I'm saying? This, first off, this man ain't playing. Also, he just beat up the Hulk to the point that the Hulk was scared to be the Hulk the whole rest of the movie. Like, how you scared of Hulk? Ain't nobody, Hulk wasn't never scared of anything whatsoever. Thanos came up, beat him up, and Hulk was like, come on, no. Fam was like, I'm not going out there. You go out there. You didn't see what he did to me in the first 15 minutes? Hulk was not having it. So, we had to speak to Bruce the rest of the time. We had to speak to his representative, because Hulk was at the crib. So, anyways, first 15, 20 of this Endgame, we see Thanos' head get cut off, which I felt split about, because at the end of Infinity War, first off, this is I'm not going to talk about negativity, because I really like the movie, but when you think about it, Thanos' original plan was to kill everybody, or kill most. He kept 50% because he liked Tony, if you remember that. I don't know what the original percentage was, but it was something less than half. And since he liked Tony, as a tribute to Tony or some respect to him, he decided to keep 50%. Now, the reason I bring that up is because if he had killed more, he would have had less of a chance of losing. He did everything he said he was going to do, but then when they see him again, he's super raggedy, his arm all jacked up. He somehow destroyed the stones, which I don't even know how that's. They didn't really explain how he did it. They said he used the stones to destroy the stones, which that's not a good enough answer for me. And also, when I see him, first off, it was dope when they got to this planet and they was scanning the planet. It was Captain Marvel, I think, went down there, and she scanned the planet and seen only him. And she was like, there is no guards, there ain't no nothing, just Thana. And old girl was like, well, that's all that's needed. And then they get down there, and this motherfucker got a garden. He down there working, like, for what? Ain't you supposed to be going around making universes better? And this man sitting there, I guess, was Earth the last one? because when Captain Marvel went to talk to Scarlet, or is it Scarlet? Not Scarlet. Black Widow. She Captain Marvel said there's a lot of planets that's just like Earth that has a lot going on too. So what was he? Did he do all the rest of them first, and then got to Earth and was like, I'm gonna just take a vacation? His arm looked like fried chicken. I couldn't believe how. And I understand once he did the snap and disappeared, but it's weird. At the end of the last movie, I don't recall his arm being jacked up, and that was after the snap as well. So I wonder how long it took him, how many other snaps he did in other places or something. Maybe he did go out in other places, or I don't know. That's least of my worries. My problem is how weak he was when they found him, and I was like, that ain't even right for him to be as strong as he was, and now his arms look like chop suey or lo mein. Like I don't understand. And where's his passion from gardening come? And what's the implants he had? Like everything was just like, okay, what is he? I was expecting him to put up a fight or something like that. They walked in that man's house, and he was like, okay, where are the stones? Like, I don't know. I got rid of them. I don't need them no more. I was like, you spent your whole life, you killed your child and everything else to get these stones. You mean tell me you just got them and just threw them out? Like, I don't understand how weak he was. Like, I wasn't okay with that. But then, they cut his head off. Thor cut his head off and was still kind of salty about it. You can tell, it was another thing dope about Thor in this particular movie is that you can see, like, the pain and what he had been dealing with. Everybody he knows dead. He felt like it was his fault for not killing Thanos. Because he hit him in the chest trying to be dope. Set him in the head, which makes sense to even me. So he would chop somebody in some armor. He cut through somebody's armor. That's what I don't never understand in movies where they would shoot people in the chest or do something to hit somebody. Like when they were shooting Superman before Superman Returns came out, they were shooting Superman in the chest. And I'm like, man, why don't you shoot that man in his face? In my mind, I thought his suit or his chest or whatever was strong. But then Superman Returns came out and they shot him in the eyeball and the bullet bent up. So I was like, okay, well, never mind then. 10 years of arguing. But anyways, he hit him in the chest, and that's pretty much why he was even able to do the snap. And Thor had to pretty much live with that. If you think about it, this is kind of like Thor's. I mean, there's a lot of people at fault. We could definitely blame Star Lord. We all know what happened there. A few other stupid things happened for him to even get the stones in the first place. But then once he got them, it was on the glove. The glove was almost off. Star Lord is in his feelings over old girl. And then pretty much helped destroy the world and kill his friends, which I feel like included himself. I feel like, didn't he? Yeah, he faded off. But then Thor had to live with the fact that he didn't have any. What I don't understand is how they made that axe out of melting all those super strong. That hammer's supposed to be like undescribably strong. They melted multiple hammers to make that axe. I feel like if you do it, especially he's supposed to be the god of whatever. If you're a god and you throw something that is that powerful, it should have went through him. Like I don't understand. I understand Thanos is super strong, and I get it, but so it just was. It was. Here's the thing: they don't describe the power enough, so they keep it vague enough for everything to make sense, and that's what I don't like either. That's why I hate Dragon Ball Z, because Dragon Ball Z, like they'll come up with a villain, and the villain be super strong, and they can't beat him, and then somehow they tap into some power, and they spend 15 minutes describing how strong it is, and then he fight him, and then they win. I'm like, okay, they've been doing that since I was a child. I watched Dragon Balls. I grew up with Goku. I don't know if y'all know that. He lived with me. We the same age. So that man, when he was in Dragon Ball, I was little watching him, and he was how he was. And then I grew up with Dragon Ball, and they still making Dragon Ball Z stuff to this day. I don't think it's Z no more. It's like super something. I know they made Kai. I know they made Super Dragon Ball something something, and then now it's like whatever it is now. I don't even want to talk about Dragon Ball Z, but I can't stand when it's so vague. When someone's so powerful, or when something they take so much time describing something to be some sort of kind of way in the comics or whatever, and then you see the person with it, but then they don't take time to describe how strong it is. Like in the movies, they almost give them an opportunity to just make anything as strong as they want to make it. Because I sat there and watched them make that axe. They went through all that stuff to make that axe, and now they got the axe, and he throws at him and hits him in the chest. It was okay. That seemed like a regular axe to me. You could do any axe. I don't understand, but he hit him in the chest. I'm kind of mad. I like things making sense, but I also know that we're talking about space aliens and gods of thunder and stuff like that. So I guess I'm not. It doesn't fully matter. But anyways, let's get off of how crippled Thanos was. So he was jacked up. They cut off his head and walked out. Right. So then they go back to the crib, and this is something that I wasn't expecting. This is surprising me. The next scene, of course, they leave. And then the whole 5 years later thing, the way they put it on the screen, I was like, 5 what? First off. And then I said 5. I was like, oh my God. And then I said years. And that's when you heard the oxygen suck about the theater. Because I was like, okay, so then I finished. He did it. The scene saying they killed the villain in most movies and everything turned back to normal. These folks dead. They don't exist no more. Their existence has ceased it, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Oh, so they did." And this was, mind you, this is the first half hour, 45 minutes of the movie that all this is going down. They killed Thanos almost immediately. Then the whole thing 5 years later come up, and they all live in District 12, pretty much eating nothing, and you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, so everything's jacked up. And they showed the city. It looked like something was all over. It just was looking nasty. I was like, okay, he really did. He really did what he said he was going to do, dead or not. So then, that really blew me away. The part, honestly, when I seen them trying to find something, they didn't really. I understand they couldn't explain. They didn't show how much diligence was being used to try to find a solution to the problem. And I know it's kind of hard to tell. It would have been another 45 minutes or 30 minutes extra for them just explaining how much they were trying to find a solution, or if they had given up. It's almost like we fast forward to the most convenient spot. And I get that sometimes that's necessary, especially the movie's already 3 hours long, which I ain't mad at. I would have sat there for I would have sat there 5 hours. Like I love long movies if they long for a reason, not just drawing out random scenes, but if they explain it a lot and it all means something, then I'll sit there and watch it. We binge watch stuff all the time, but then we complain about how short movies are, or how long movies are, and it don't make no sense to me. But yeah, so they jumped into just finding a solution with Ant-Man, which I thought was dope. You think something like Ant-Man's the movie's irrelevant? You think it's something you can skip? Or actually, it was Ant-Man and Wasp, I think, that had the key part in it. It's almost, and it's so dope how they timed it out so well. Marvel needs those awards for just how well they got these put together. But Ant-Man and Wasp came out. At the end of that, if you watch the cutscene, the end post, whatever, you see that that he got stuck in the thing, which I was like, how the heck is he finna get out of this? You know what I'm saying? That's how that movie ended, and I never forgot that. I was like, I didn't realize the time situation that went on in that, and maybe they explained it and I didn't commit it to memory because it didn't seem relevant at the time. But I didn't realize the time was different while he was in that state, and and I didn't realize that was the case, or else that would have kind of make that would make sense. I didn't think about it. And I don't even know if they explained it, but it was pretty dope. Then the rat accidentally getting him out, however he got him out, I thought was pretty dope too. He was like in a car, a random car that in the garage or wherever he was at. I felt like that was so dope how they did that. I don't know how they found the car, or how they got it from the rooftop. I don't know how they got the car onto the roof in the first place. But that goes me trying to figure stuff out. They somehow got it from the top of the roof of that building to some junkyard or whatever, where they was, some garage. And I thought it was pretty dope how he got out. And I don't know how he knew it was 5 hours, but he did. So I like how that was included in there, regardless if it makes sense or not. Like they tied something that theoretically is kind of small into a really really big portion of what this same and this is they did that twice because Nebula wasn't really that of a main character, not for real. For like we knew who she was and we knew she was dope, but she had a really pivotal part in this particular movie, which I'm gonna get into her part. Actually, let me just get into it now because I keep saying I'm gonna put it off and I keep talking too much. I'm gonna name what I hate about this movie, and I'm gonna name what I liked about it. I'd rather end on a good note than talk about the bad stuff last. What I didn't like, I shouldn't say hate, but what I disliked is this. Nebula went back. If y'all seen that she was finna kill, yeah, she was finna kill Gamora, right? The old one was finna kill Gamora, and then the new one showed up. The new Nebula, I say new and old, but I mean like the past Nebula and the current present time Nebula, which was the good Nebula. Let's just say it like that, good and bad. The bad one was the one from the past. The good one was the one in the future. And when she killed the bad one, which is from the past. I don't understand how she didn't die, because how could she possibly exist in the future if her past self died? I didn't get that part. That was one thing that really bothered me. Second thing that bothered me was how was Black Panther always taking L's. If you look back at the beginning, Black Panther is always getting beat up. He got beat up at the airport. Like he came out and did his thing as his premiere, or whatever. But he got beat up, and then you go to his movie where he was fighting Killmonger, and Killmonger beat him up too. Like man, the only cool part, or the only part that showed how dope Black Panther actually is that whole chase scene. Or actually, was that even them? Was that even him? Or I think that was I think that was the woman. I don't even know if that was him or not. I feel like it was. Oh yeah, it was him. He was on top of the car. Yeah, I feel like that chase scene was the dopest. Like him doing something, like running up against the car. Nah, I remember now. Yeah, he was running. That was the dopest part. When it comes to the fights, he's always getting the hands. Like I ain't never seen Black Panther just straight whoop somebody. Like it just never happened. He always the one getting destroyed. And you fast forward to Infinity War, where he told Peter Parker, "Give me the glove." He gave him the glove, and he had it for what? It wasn't even 30 seconds to where he got hit and they got knocked out. And then you really didn't even see him again after that. I don't think. His primary goal was to get the thing from Peter Parker. He threw it to him, and then he just lost it again. And then that was the result, and that resulted in Thanos even getting it. He got to put the glove on. So if you really think about it, if he would have snapped, it would have been Black Panther's fault ultimately. Like I understand he was trying to get away and all the monsters were there, but why are you constantly taking L's? And I ain't finna get into how I'm not trying to make this no black thing, no white thing. I'm just saying that particular, and there's probably other characters that are white that are. I mean, I just talked about Thor being trash ultimately and having that weak axe that was supposed to be the strongest thing theoretically in the universe. I don't understand why it's such a necessity to have Black Panther getting destroyed every time he has the opportunity to. Killmonger, I was kind of pissed. Killmonger was actually colder than Black Panther. T'Challa just beat up. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like he lost the challenge, and that's why he wasn't even the Black Panther. Killmonger, and then Killmonger got killed. I can't remember how Killmonger died, but I was like, man, like and then you know what I'm saying. Like what I feel like is you do all this hype about this character, and so you build somebody up. You spend all this time making this movie, and then you make sure you almost make sure that it's communicated that he ain't really that dope. Like that suit is dope, and he's supposed to have all this power from his ancestors, and then he always taking L's. It's like, okay, but then let Captain America come out, and or saying Captain Marvel, and everybody just like it's just untouchable theoretically. Like people fighting him, and the only people he went heads up with Thanos. Like if you look at that after what I said about the Hulk, that's crazy. He was straight up boxing Thanos. And if Black Panther would ever try to fight Thanos, I'm sorry. He would have tried it, but based on his track record, it would have been a good 15, 20 seconds before he was smashed and be sitting in that tree with his ancestors. Because there's no way he would have went heads up with him and succeeded in any way, shape, or form. And it's wild. You know what I didn't know? The crowd. I never been to no theater where the crowd made all this noise. Like I'd never been nowhere where they clapped. If you want a good theater experience, go like I would say the first day, because that's when all the people who are dedicated to those movies go. Like I understand some people have to do it on the weekend, but if you're a nerd person, I say nerd respectfully because I feel like you can call me one of those too. But if you're a nerd person, you finna be in that movie as soon as you can possibly get in there. And if you want a good crowd reaction, I suggest you go to those movies then. And that made it better for me because sometimes I just look at stuff and I don't know exactly. I don't know how does that kind of feel about it. But I'll just watch it and just know I'll know I've seen it and I can process the information I'm looking at. But there's no emotional connection. That's just how I am sometimes. But I went to that theater. Well, I went day one or as soon as I can go. And actually, it was day one. I went Thursday night, and the movie came out Thursday. I couldn't go in earlier. I was at work. I left work at 7. There was already people there who had seen it. And there's another thing. When I got to the theater, I was literally getting out of the car, and one of my coworkers was there, and he had said, "This is my second time seeing it." Like he was coming in, as I was getting out of the car, and I was like, "Yo, what up?" And he's like, "Yo," he's like, "You going to you seen Endgame?" I was like, "Yeah," and he said, "Oh, this is my second time seeing it." Like that day, he had already seen it twice, and I was seeing it for the first time, and this was late at night when I was able to go because all the seats were taken on the rest of it. I'm not trying to sit in that front row, which I don't even know why it exists. Honestly, they kind of root for that front row. But ain't nobody finna sit there with my neck cracked back like that for no 3 hours. I'm sorry, it just ain't gonna happen. They need to just take them seats out. I feel like the seats also, let me complain about the theaters these days. I understand they want to get these seats packed with as many people as possible in one room. But they gotta understand that my hips don't lie. So I'm finna be almost having to buy 2 seats in these theaters. Me and this dude who was ever sitting next to me in this theater got so close to each other. Me and him bonded the way we was all up on each other like that. My knees was always touching on his leg. And you know what I'm saying? I can only squeeze my legs for so long. I mean, Endgame was the equivalent of watching 2 movies at once, as far as time. And I'm sorry, bro, but we finna have to just know each other, cause I'm not finna cramp up and then have to walk out and leave me and they're crying and whimpering and stuff, and then miss after movie. I don't know what was finna happen. So I don't know how people get up and go to the bathroom and do anything during the movie. When I go to a movie, I don't get up for nothing. I don't get up. I'll stay at the Euro for 20, 30 minutes before that movie starts and just make sure all the drops out before I get up and go somewhere during the movie. Yeah, right. It ain't never gonna happen. I ain't spent all this time. I mean, unless it was something like I didn't care about. But even then, if I paid money for it, I probably want to see it. I don't know what example I can even give. Maybe if I'm there with somebody else, or like a date or something, which never happens. But if she watching like Sleeps in Seattle 2, Restlessness, then yeah, I'm probably gonna go to the bathroom if I gotta go. But in game, you mean tell me I've been waiting a year? I sit there pissing one of them cups. I find somebody cup when they done with their drink. Ain't no way I'm getting them going to the bathroom in a movie that I've been waiting on for a year. This ain't gonna happen. So, anyways, these theaters they need to do better with these big seats. And the dude actually there was a dude in front of me. He was kind of big. Um, no shade or nothing, but he was kind of big, and he had brought two seats. And I didn't think about actually when I tried to go buy my ticket. It's a long story. Oh, I didn't get to that. I'm gonna tell you. Well, I'm not gonna get into that right now because that's gonna take me to do another tangent. But I ended up having a ticket and had to get rid of that ticket and go to a different theater. Long story short, um, I'll get into that maybe next week if I remember. But um, the by the time I had to go buy a ticket for this in game, I didn't. I was pretty much having to sit on somebody's lap. We was finna have to sit crisscross applesauce sandwiches laps in the theater. The way there was just no seats. And the front row don't count because I don't call them seats. I call that punishment. That's what I do if I um get a ticket too late and I have to go for whatever reason, or if I got to use a whatever. But anyways, I I just can't stand being in small seats. I just couldn't do it. But I need to lose weight too, so that's kind of motivation for that. Anyways, what I was saying is the crowd reaction when Captain America grabbed the hammer was unbelievable. I've never experienced anything like that in any movie theater I've ever been to in my life. The way everybody was just like, oh my god, like everybody's like they were just lit. I was like excited, but I didn't know why I was excited. Like I don't know when it was big. I thought Thor was the only one that could hold that hammer. And I faintly remember everybody trying to hold it and then not being able to. And I think Captain must have said he couldn't too. But I don't know how he knew he couldn't do it. I don't know. Maybe there's some in the comics that they knew about that I didn't. That made that dope. But I just was sitting there confused. Like, first off, how did he do that? How did the hammer know he was not Thor, or he was, I don't know. It was weird to me. But it was dope the way everybody acted. So I was lit too. I was excited for nothing. Like, man, yeah. And I would have loved to have seen the scene where they kept hitting Thanos with the hammer. Like they'll throw it at him and hit him, and they'll go past, and then the other one to do it and do it like they'll like back and forth, like ping pong the hammer back and forth, like both trying to like both. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I got it's pictured in my head, but hopefully what I said makes sense. I would have loved to have seen that, but that didn't happen. And it better not have after Infinity War. If that had worked, I would have been. Anyways, yeah, that was dope to me. The problem, I know, and I don't say it's a problem, but one thing I think they just did though, with all this ending. First off, let me. I don't want to get. Man, I'm so scatterbrained. I ain't got nothing written down, so that's why I'm kind of just bouncing all over the place. But the thing with Iron Man, I think, was kind of dope. When you seen the lady Iron Man, you seen Gwyneth Paltrow put on her suit, or Pepper put on her suit. When you seen everybody just come together, that was a dope scene too. And everybody was kind of like, you can tell like there was like clapping and stuff like that in different scenes. But that was definitely one of the ones people got lit for as well. Is when all the people start coming back. Or first, when you start hearing when Captain America got up for just getting beat down by Thor, and you start seeing the army come, and it's just Thanos, or it's just Captain America and then Thanos, and that army's on its way. And he's like, "Well, Captain finna get." This is the part where he died, obviously, because he didn't sign his contracts. And then you hear somebody say, "Sam, are you there?" or something like that. And you hear somebody on the radio, and you're like, "What the heck? Did I hear that right?" And then you start seeing the little yellow circles come out, and people start coming out of the wherever they was from. I don't even know where they was to even come back. I guess when I think when um, what's his face, um, Hulk, when he snapped, or they call him Professor Hulk in this movie because I guess it's the split between the balance between Banner and Hulk. I guess that's officially called Professor Hulk, which I thought was kind of dope. But anyways, when he did the snap, when he put the stones in the thing, which I don't understand how Iron Man made something to be strong enough to do with all those, because the gauntlet thing was supposed to be some sacred thing they took forever to make just to hold the stones because nothing else was powerful. And then you fast forward to the movie, and Hulk put this glove on. First off, I don't know how Tony Stark made something strong enough to hold the stones. Cause he's a scientist, he's smart, but he don't know about magic and all the other extra stuff. Like, so why was it necessary for them, the elves, to make something? Anyways, I also don't understand how that. I was wondering how he's gonna put the glove on anyway. He was like, "I'll do it." I was like, "Bro, don't you see that's a regular sized glove? Like, how you finna put that on?" And then it started expanding, and I was like, "Well, that don't make sense either." But I just let it go. I let so much stuff go. I try to just enjoy what I was watching. But he put it on, he snapped, and I feel like everybody came back at that point, but they didn't show it right away because that wasn't when everybody needed to be there. The phone rang. Hawkeye's Hawkeye's wife called, and I guess that's how they knew. But my first thought would be like, okay, can y'all call the rest of the people? T'Challa ain't got no phone. I don't understand why y'all. That would have been my first inkling. They was crying about everybody being gone, and then they came back. And my first thing would have been like, okay, how can we check to see if it even worked? People didn't start just reappearing in front of them, so I would have been like, okay, what the bleep just happened? And here's another thing. I know I'm kind of a darker, morbid person. I like realisticness in stories. So when Paul Rudd or Ant Man, I guess, was standing, they were looking outside when they did the snap, and I guess I don't know what he's seen, but I guess things started getting better. I think he's seen like that tree was growing or something. Anyways, when Thanos took his ship and shot those things at the tower, the Avengers Tower, I don't know how the bleep he stayed alive. Like, that would have been a good time to kill him if they was going to do it. Like, they probably got plans for him, but for there to be casualties in this kind of movie makes sense to me. We all seen what happened to Black Widow, which I felt like it was dope. I really thought Hawkeye was going to be the one, especially with Black Widow having a movie already coming out, and Hawkeye kind of being, roasted pretty much. People ain't really a big fan of him, but I thought he was going to be the one. And he seemed like when they did slow motion, he was like running towards like the edge of the thing, and he had jumped off, and it was dope. They did a really good job of making you feel like a certain way, and then switching it or doing something to make you think something different. And I thought he was a goner, especially financially for Disney, because anybody finna watch the Hawkeye movie. But yeah, I was like, okay, he's a rap, makes sense. And then she came down. I was like, well, obviously she ain't finna be the one. They finna do something. He finna, you know what I'm saying? And then she was like, let go, and he fell. She fell, and I was like, oh, so they not playing. So she's out. She's out. She's 3 strikes. And the reason I was bringing all that up is that I thought that would be a good time for Ant-Man to die. For him to be standing that close to the window when that thing happened, and people, I heard a theory about maybe he made himself smaller at the last moment. First off, he didn't know what was going on. Secondly, being smaller in that kind of situation would almost make things worse. Could you imagine something smaller than a human being even being able to take half of that blast. Like he lit that place up. He didn't just shoot one. He lit that place up, Bonnie and Clyde style. Like there was no. I theoretically, I don't know how anybody got out of that, honestly. But of course, that wasn't. That's not how the movie was going to go. So you knew somebody was going to be okay. But there should have been a couple of L's in that. Ant-Man 4, sure, and maybe Rocket or somebody small. Not small as in like importance, but small as in size. Somebody should have got killed. I'm sorry, but it didn't make no sense. But anyways, yeah, look that place up, dude. I thought that was a dope scene. How they cut that in, and then like the ship went up but when nobody was in there to see it, it all worked out for them in that particular part. There was a lot of even though some of the stuff didn't make sense, there was a lot of dope like how did this happen, or how did they, what I'm saying, like you would think like they you can tell they just thought a lot of it through, a lot of the details they looked at and was like, okay, we got this covered, you know what I'm saying, and I feel like that was pretty dope because whoa because this man just got super loud. My Google self just touched the mic thing, and I don't know if I should turn it down or turn it up. But anyways, sorry if it just got loud. But when I seen that ship go up, I was like, it's going. And they used it, and it was just dope how it just worked out. It was super small, and then it got bigger as like they went through the thing. It just, I don't know. That was pretty dope planned out. They were probably lit when they came up with that. But a couple of things that I didn't that I'm looking forward to in the future. Now, what I was finna get at, they did a really good job of putting a bow on everything. Shout out to Iron Man, started it all and ended it all. I feel like they did that well. Shout out to Captain America, who got his dance finally. He came back as Old Man Captain, which I think I don't even think I know now that that was part of the comics. Not that particular part, but kind of like Old Man Logan. Like we think Logan was just a movie, but they actually took that from the comics as well. Or I should say took that, but they, you know what I mean. So Old Man Captain America is actually a real thing. It's in one of the comics, or it may be, I don't know. It's in the comics somewhere. And that was dope. Him giving the shield to Falcon, I feel like was dope. Which I feel like I wish they had expanded on their relationship a little bit more before he did something like that. Because I feel like he only gave it to him because he walked up there first. Really, honestly, if you look back, he did a lot for Bucky. Captain America, Bucky were the two, like, as far as camaraderie, you would think that he would give it to him as like an atonement for all the bad things he did. But he also I feel like he gave it to Falcon because Falcon walked up there first. And like anybody who was standing there would have got the shield. And it wasn't like an obvious like, okay, like he's finna give him his shield or whatever. I seen it sit next to him when he was sitting down. But I didn't know he was gonna give it away. And when he did, it didn't seem like they were strong enough for that to be a moving moment. Like Captain, it was more moving than Captain was done, and less of a passing you the torch kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm kind of dope. A black dude got the thing, and he's going to be theoretically Captain America. Hopefully, I mean they got a show on Disney Plus called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't know how that's going to go. I feel like it would be dope to call him Black America, but I know they're not going to do that. I really feel like that would be so dope though. Black America sounds like a dope name, and that's pretty much what's going on. But I know that Disney ain't going for that. And they, like I said, they called him Falcon in the show already. So I don't know what they finna do. But this was the end of their phase 3 that they had been planning for all this time. So I don't know what everything's theoretically in the air. I'm sure they're doing a better job at planning than we think, but it isn't a solidified transition. There's a lot of stuff that we have questions about. WandaVision, like I said, They got Galaxy 3 with Thor in it now. That's gonna be different, but it works. It seems like it's gonna work. Loki got his show. Which is another thing that's weird to me. How Loki even. I have to go back and watch it again. But I'm pretty sure he had the cube in his hand when he teleported, or he went back to that portal. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Thanos crushed that cube and got one of the stones up out of that thing. So, how they were able to have all the stones when they returned didn't make sense. Maybe I'm missing something. I have to watch it again. It's definitely gonna be one of the movies if I can get to it. Cause I watched Infinity War like 3 times. So if I can get to Endgame again a couple times, I can get my money back, right? But once I do, I'm gonna try to get in there because you know it's gonna be in theaters for the rest of eternity. I don't know if you know that or not. It's gonna be months before they take that out. So I'm curious about what like the details I'm thinking of. Maybe they talked about it and I just missed it because there's a lot to process in one thing. But yeah, from what I remember, Loki left with that Tesseract, I think it's called, or the cube, or whatever. So, which is I think is what ain't there a cube in Transformers? Wasn't there a cube in that? I'm curious. Anyways, I'm not gonna get on into that. But when he left, he still had it in his hand. He didn't drop it. He didn't, which would have caused a little bit more noise. I think. I don't know. I think stuff through too much. But he he left with that cube, so I don't know how they were able to get it back, to even get the stoner. And that's the whole reason they were trying to steal it in the first place, is to get it out of there. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, what I was gonna say is that kind of led to his show. We were kind of wondering. I was wondering how he's going to get his show. And I think that's probably the way into that. I can't remember everything they announced with Disney Plus. Something I should have looked at before I started this, but I also don't care as much as most people talking about it. So I don't know what they're going to do. Like, it feels like it was like a fresh start. And you notice there was no end scene, which is definitely a new thing for them. I don't think there's been many movies, or any even, possibly, that didn't have no cutscene at the end. So that was pretty different. But there's something else that happened too. There's a few things that I just like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? You kind of go along with it because you're not going to just get up and leave. You know what I'm saying? So you just finish watching it. But there's a couple of questions I had in my mind. But ultimately, y'all, they did a really good job. And I think that I'm curious about this phase 4. I think they're going to maybe do the little shows, like maybe set something up in it, but maybe just tell stories to kind of get some Marvel. I mean, because what other choice do they have? If they put Marvel properties on Disney Plus, which you know they're going to, what would they have besides like side characters? Maybe they're just telling little small stories, little random villains that don't mean anything. I don't know. And then at some point, I listen. And I was talking, I posted something about this earlier. It's like I don't know what they finna do now. Like, it's almost like everything really was the end. And I pray that they don't do the time travel stuff and Thanos comes back or finds some way to bring his own self back or something stupid. Then we gotta do the whole stone thing again. Because Captain theoretically put them all back where they were. So they theoretically are where they were. Vision is wherever Vision. I think they made Vision out of a stone. I don't think Vision was just walking around. I think the stone made Vision, or they. I don't know. So maybe he is going to be back with Wanda. We'll see. But Captain put all the stones back, which I don't know how. He was by himself. I just thought about that part. He had 5 stones in 5 different places. I don't know how he. It must. I don't know. Anyways. They theoretically just killed the strongest dude that there possibly was. And if theoretically, let's say he wasn't the strongest, which is I feel like a lie. What was the strongest person doing the whole time? Same thing they said to Captain Marvel. Was like, okay, if you've been here this whole time watching all this stuff, where the f have you been? And I would the villain could have the same kind of theoretical question asked to him if there was somebody stronger than Thanos somewhere around. Where are they at? Where were they this whole time? And why did they sit there back there and watch and didn't do anything? I heard somebody say the name Galacticus or Galactica or something. I don't know who that is or what that means, but if he's somehow stronger than Thanos, then that was a huge waste of time. I would like to see, as far as the next plans, I would like to see Black America and Winter Soldier do some stuff. I'm not too invested in the Captain America story. I didn't really like the first movie. Like, I understand they had to start from somewhere, but I didn't really like the first one. The second one was a little bit more story oriented. And the third one was Captain and Iron Man fighting, which introduced Black Panther, which I thought was pretty dope. But the fight scene they had was the pinnacle of the movie. Once it was done, it was like it was done. Like the airport thing happened, but it was just about the two fight scenes, I guess, primarily. It was Captain and Iron Man's fight, and then it was the airport scene. And beyond that, I don't even remember. I don't remember much else. So I don't know. I don't know what I want from that because Winter Soldier, like Bucky, the whole Bucky thing wasn't really dope to me. Falcon was Falcon. It was just another side character in my opinion. He wasn't trash, but it just wasn't like important enough to have. They finna have his own show. Him and Bucky is finna have his own show. Their own show. I don't know how I feel about like this isn't something I'm not happy about. I'm not excited, I should say, about any of the Disney Plus stuff that's gonna drop. And I think they maybe just be kind of like slowly like they just had a really really big win, and I feel like Disney Plus are dropping sometime this year. If not this year, then definitely early next. So, like I don't know what they're gonna do. They obviously got something planned out, but I don't know if they're gonna build. They're gonna take another 10 years building up to another, Endgame kind of thing, or is they finna incorporate X-Men. They brought X-Men, and I read an article about them they're not gonna incorporate X-Men in the movies and stuff like that for another 5 years or so. They got a lot of side character stuff coming out. Black Widow got her movie. I don't want to call Black Panther a side character, but the way he take his L's, he fights like a side character, or they set him up like a side one. So he's gonna have his sequel. I can't even think of nothing else that's gonna drop, but y'all probably got a higher knowing or knowledge of what that. Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is coming out, and I feel like they're gonna fight Gamora, which is she theoretically the strongest. They use a lot of ultimate words, but they called her the strongest warrior in the universe, and Grace Randolph had a good point. They didn't really show that side of her yet. Theoretically they called her that, but she ain't really been fighting for real. So now that she is, theoretically a villain now, doesn't really know Star-Lord, which I thought was pretty. It's kind of sad, kind of not. It makes sense, but it ain't. I don't know how much they're going to actually do damage to her. They're all going to be scared to fight her or hesitant. So I don't know how this going to play out. It's going to be a lot of, hey, do you remember me? Look in my eyes. And if they fix her too soon, then they just lost somebody else they can make this dope with. So I don't know. They got a lot on their hands, but it also could be a lack of knowledge on my part. So we'll see. Maybe they got plenty to do. I'm sure Ant-Man's gonna get another movie. I'm sure Spider-Man, of course, ain't really a side character, but Far From Home is coming out, and I like Spider-Man now. I don't know if y'all seen Into the Universe or Into the Spider-Verse. But that was actually a pretty solid movie. I don't like Spider-Man stuff, I didn't like the Tobey Maguire movies. And the Andrew Garfield ones were okay, besides the part that had anything to do with Jamie Foxx. But I really like this new cat, Tom Holland, and I feel like I'm gonna be more invested with his movies, and then the Spider-Man game, which I haven't played because it's on my PS4. I'm still crying about that. I cry about that. At least I take 20 minutes out of my day to cry about that PS4 every day. So please pray for me. Usually 20 minutes, around 7:30, I start crying. I give myself about 20 minutes. But y'all, one day I'm gonna get a PS4 and I'm not gonna sell. I'm actually gonna get a PS4 and then call all the game shops and tell them to never take back a PS4 from me. And actually, they should be giving me a PS4. They in debt. They should just give it to me in the first place. They should give my stuff back. They ain't got no money. They finna go out of business with my PS4 in the back, and I'm not happy about that. If y'all finna go out of business, go in the back and give me my PS4 back. I really want one of those blue ones. Have y'all seen the blue ones with the 20 or it was 500 million sold or something like that? I can't remember the exact number, but I feel like it was that. I really wanted those, the 2 terabytes, and it's clear. It's like a translucent blue. I can't. One day, I seen them the price on eBay. They like $1,000 now. So that's gonna, of course, gonna have to wait. But I'm cool with the Switch right now. I haven't really been playing no games honestly lately, to be all the way real with you. But anyways, with Spider-Man's Into the Universe, the Spider-Man game, and the Tom Holland. I think that's his name, pretty sure. Tom Holland Spider-Man. I'm actually becoming a fan of Spider-Man a little bit more and more. I hope they do this right. The whole thing with Venom didn't go well. I watched Venom. That was not dope to me. I hope they don't try to push him into the Tom Holland movies. But I mean that goes back to what I was saying about DC. It's like you can't keep changing all this stuff and split all this stuff away. Like I really hope Joaquin Phoenix is Joker and any other Batman movie we see in the near future. I really hope he's the Joker because Jared Leto is cool, whatever. But it didn't work. I mean, it didn't work. A lot of people thought that was an L, and Suicide Squad was an entire L. I can't stand that movie. I can't. I don't like. Anyways. I'm starting to like Spider-Man more. So hopefully maybe they incorporate a villain. I think they can take anybody's big villain. And I think they need to quit going for the biggest villains first. I think that would be dope. If they kind of like slow down. Because if you keep going to these... I hate saying this, but I gotta use this term. If they keep going for these godlike villains, they're going to destroy everybody strong and they're going to end their franchise. Like they need to kind of like eventually build up. Like you know how they've been doing, like how Marvel's been doing at least. Start with somebody that's not as big but still a problem, make him dope. But he ain't the biggest thing they have to worry about. Like something like Ultron for example, Age of Ultron. Ultron was a problem for them, for that movie at least. And he wasn't Thanos. Like it's two totally different dopes. Like I think they should kind of hone in on that. Look up the villains to see who's doable. I mean, I hate to say make up new villains because people get pissed about that, but they're gonna have to at some point. I mean, you can't keep just recycling the same stuff. I'm sorry. Something for that to happen. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up coming down. If they pay me, I'll take care of thinking that through. But that's above my pay. I can't just be this far to the negative and still be coming up with golden ideas for some Disney. Not saying I can't come up with ideas, but if you're not paying me for them, you're not getting them. So y'all talk to me if y'all need me. But until then, I feel better care. But yeah, looking forward to see what they do. I gotta look up the phase and see what phase 4 I think is at least starting. So because I know Spider-Man comes out I feel like next month, and I don't know what else after that, but I can look it up. I'm gonna see what. Let me know what y'all feel like is y'all waiting for. Let me know what y'all think they finna do. If you ain't rated the podcast yet, throw me a rating and the joint. Let me know how you feel. What can be done better? What can be not? I'm always down for correct. What's the word? Constructive criticism. I'm gonna say corrective criticism. I think all criticism is corrective, but I'm down for the cause. Let me know what you feel like, and we can see what we can do. You feel me? You feel me? I've been thinking about segments, kind of like if I should chop something, spend a certain amount of time on this and spend a certain time on that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. For now, though, I wouldn't even let nobody finna interrupt this end game because I know. Y'all waited like I waited. At the end of Infinity War, when they little flakes of existence floated off, I was like, hold up. Like in my mind, I was like, okay, they coming back. I knew that. I think everybody knew that. But how they was gonna come back, and just in the way they executed, even though everybody knew that everyone was gonna come back, I think the shock value was in a few scenes. It was definitely Black Widow. I mean, her dying was pretty surprising because I wasn't expecting that. I knew Iron Man was. I thought Iron Man was dead in the first movie after he got stabbed in the chest. So I don't know how he came out of that. You get the strongest thing in the universe stab a human, and he's perfectly fine. Oh, another thing, Tony Stark. I didn't talk too much about Tony Stark in this, but he slayed too. When he came back skinny and bony in that chair, man, Robert Downey Jr. did a really good job on that in that particular acting. As far as the acting, everyone did pretty good. I didn't see anything distracting as far as the acting part of it. Besides, like the little girl wanting cheeseburgers after her dad just died, that shouldn't be on your mind. She wasn't crying, no nothing. It just was like, "Yeah, I'm hungry." I was like, okay, like I don't know if you know this, but your dad ain't coming back. Oh, and speaking of that, the end, there not being a cutscene at the end. That's where I think I started to say that, and I never finished. My bad, but the cutscene, not there not being a cutscene, was pretty new. But the noise you heard at the end was, people have been talking about it, speculating. I want to see Ironheart, which I don't know if y'all know, but there's a character, a black girl named Riri. Is super smart. That in the comics they say she's smarter than Tony Stark, but in the comics it don't cost you much to just say stuff. You know what I'm saying? People just you should see the strength Superman has, the stuff he can pick up and the things he can do, like the numbers they put out there, just in audible numbers. You can't even say the number of pounds he can pick up and do all this stuff. And Batman's the best kung fu person in the whole world, and the whole like you just I feel like a kid's making these up. Everybody's the dopest in the whole world. Everyone's the dopest in the whole world. Okay, everybody can't be the dopest, y'all. Everybody can't be the strongest in the universe. Everybody can't be the dopest thing in all existence. Like some people, it just ain't that. Some people ain't that. But she's supposed to be smarter than Tony Stark, smarter than Tony Stark ever was, and yada yada yada. All I would like to see is a new Iron Man or or Ironheart. I wouldn't mind if it's a woman, if the villains make sense and the storyline makes sense. I like that. Thor is a woman in the comics, I believe, and I feel like Loki is too. I know for Thor for sure, but I feel like Loki. I think Loki changed himself to a woman, like he like regenerated some kind of way, and now she's a woman. Thor switch, Ironheart's a woman. I think that'd be kind of dope to kind of, what I'm saying. You look at the main character; those are the kind of the main ones besides Captain America, and that now he's black instead of white. They doing a lot of flips, so we'll see. Chris Evans being Iron Man, or God, what I'm talking about. Chris Evans being Captain's gonna be hard not to see. You just got so used to seeing it, and I feel like he did a pretty decent job. But I don't know. I don't trust no other actors to be the characters we've been watching for all this time. It's like when someone comes along and tries to play Wolverine again at some point. I was like, bro, we don't know you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm about out of time. I appreciate y'all listening, man. Tell me what you think and some sort of comments. If you ain't rated, please rate the podcast for me, please. And with all that being said, bye, 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 bye.